Hello and welcome. It's 12:30 ish. It's Monday here at Trucking Answers. Welcome back to the work week. Hey, it's a good 61 degrees and sunny here. I just saw snow. What's going on? Snow. There's no snow here. That's awesome. So I did see there's some snow out west. Anyway, the CVSA road check coming up, like age-based cognitive road tests. What do you think about that for drivers, truck drivers, right? Hey, you get another month to file with the IRS. Sierra England ad, 86,000 plus. I want to ask if there's some Sierra England drivers about this ad, and is it possible? Look, I'm more than willing to recommend a place that'll pay you 90 grand and get you home on the weekends. Actually, it said weekly, so maybe not weekends. We'll give them the credit of what they said. Home weekly and $86,000 plus. England drivers can help me out. Stocks going crazy. Why didn't we buy them? Right, something. It's really something. So a couple of stocks are way up from what they have been, so pretty good that way. What's going on out there? Mike Muller was here 5 minutes after I posted this on Wednesday. Super fast. Love it. First today on my screen was George Costanza. Thank you for being here. The President, George H.W. Bush, is here today, and I appreciate you taking your time out from all your presidential duties. And I got to say duty. George Wilson, hello. Trucking Tips is here. All the weather you need, 24 hours a day, all day. Joan Ark, hello. It's good to see you. I got your email. Columbia, George, delivered mineral spirits to a wood treating company. That's pretty good. Let's see here. Where did I go off to? Oh, Misty is here. Hello. What's going on over there? And I see that you're flying cross country. Let's hear about that. Where are you going to, and where does that truck go back to? I saw your bobtailing it. Holy mackerel. I may have missed some of it. Job is free drinks. How cool. Yeah. Oh, did they put you in first class? That would be pretty good. That would be pretty good. So that's pretty good. We're looking be getting tickets here soon for the wife. So that's good. They're not that expensive right now in case anybody's want to do it. Trucking Tips, not having a great day today. Gear Jammer's here from Arundel, Florida. Well, no snow down there, right? Let's see, where did I go off to? From another DC. Yeah, I see you're going to about till 2,100 miles. Misty, right? What's going on with that? And some Penelope Rain Blossom Smith. Hey, the longest name on YouTube. Snow, where is it snowing? Holy moly. Got to be out west, right? Cash is King Trucking is here, making that money. Living the ELD exempt life. What's going on? GP Transco is here. Hello, it's good to see you today. Where do I get the quotes? Hey, I just look them up. I just search out good quotes, and each week I have like a different topic in my mind. This week I looked up success quotes. So, Luke 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't stand Great Dane trailers. The landing gear is stupid. Why is it stupid? It's on the wrong side. Is it one of those trailers with the landing gear on the wrong side? I hate that. I just don't get it. Put them all on the same side. Grafton, hello there. It's good to see you. What's going on? Let's see here. Austin, Washington. Hey, everybody. Hey, what's happening? You live in Wyoming. Oh, all right. That's a problem. Wyoming. All right. Schedule thing is, Joan Ark. Let's see. Roger Penske. Where did I go off to? Since I'm in the Sonar or Mojave Desert, about 4 out of 7 hours to LA, I just do camping. Most exits are dirt. Just camp on the exit. Here's a dirt exit. I'll just camp here. Crimson Caveman. Happy Roller Wiener Day. It's good to see you today. Good morning from Zizix Road, right? The only one, the only word like that. And, you follow that out to that old Zizix, I forget what they call that, right? That old not mineral spirits, because I have that in my mind, but like a hot springs, some kind of spa at the end of that road. There's a big thing written up about it. Pretty interesting. Alexandra here. Hello. What's going on? Kind of overcast, but 61 in central Illinois. Oh, you're not that far away, right? Cash is King Trucking. Yeah, not bad today. Not bad. We're going to get rain on Thursday, so there's traffic and weather on the 8th. Be ready for that. We have no temperature here in Lafayette, World Headquarters, Lafayette, Indiana. Below 32 degrees through the 4th of April, as far as my weather goes, too, so that's pretty good. Trucker Hershey's still on vacation. What kind of how many weeks of vacation they give you over there? Holy mackerel. Jerry Albano, hello from Alabama. Have a good weekend. Yeah, it was super great as always. From Six Flags in Missouri, the Grumpy Trucker. Are they open now? Did they open yet? Probably not yet for the season, right? Is the Mad Greek back open in Baker, Roger Penske? Maybe. Chemical spill at Wellman Products, and they're closing the warehouse. Flat highway. Sweet. Well, you get to sit there on the clock, I hope. Brian Haas, hello there. GP Transco. Fun fact, drivers who hear about us from Trucking Answers and come aboard have some of the highest retention of any driver of our fleet. That's pretty awesome. Well, thank you. And you know what? That has nothing to do with me, though. I think it is because drivers that listen to the channel, and I do think this, right, are just better drivers. They're safer drivers, and they want to do a better job, and that's why they come here. It's not a drama channel or any of that. So I think you get a different kind of driver here, a better driver, a better person, and that's all the people that are here, and that is true. So and I'm glad for that. People should find a place that they like and stay there, because you'll just do better overall. I get it, people have to change or whatever jobs, but people that go 6 jobs a year for 7 years straight, it's you. Okay, find a place you like and stay there. Flat highway, no more snow. Yeah, we're done with it here. I proclaim that spring is here now, because it is here, and that's it. Marengo Casino in Cabazon, California. Famous dinosaur. Is that the one with the big thing outside? Afternoon all from Paperworks Wabash. Kelly Patterson, really? Paperworks. What is going on there? Crimson Caveman that wants to get hard by GP Transco. Right. Thoughts on First Fleet? Well, I see them advertise around Indianapolis at $1,200 a week. So that's all I know about them. Luke, in order to change a landing gear from low to high on a Great Dane, you have to pull this bolt back and forth and lock it in. Oh, right. I've seen that goofy thing. Right. All right. I didn't know that was a Great Dane thing. I just kind of thought it was just a weird trailer. So it's on all of them? That's even worse. Okay. Roll Tide, number 1 all the way in basketball, Jerry. All right, that's a sporting event. Okay, I know that much. So, right, I know there was a big March Madness thing here this weekend, and I did, which I'll be doing a video about this. So, just a little preview, I guess. I always recommend people go on Uber, and I thought, you know what? Can you really make money in Uber? So I updated my paperwork, and I went out and Ubered. So I'll have a video. I'm going to go do a couple more times to get a good feel of it, but and I'll tell you how much you can make driving your car around. And let me tell you, it's over $1 a mile in your car. So after fuel, so after filling it up, so far. But I need a few more days to make sure. It was busy. In fact, it was so busy that 44 runs I didn't take that had come to me, and I just let go because I already had somebody with me. That's how busy it was. So there was no delay time at all. The only way to stop taking runs is to log off, because they were just constantly coming. So that'll be an interesting video coming up. Oh, let's see. Listening in on the drive to Tennessee, Stan Dodge. All right. Well, great. Should be nice down there finally. All right. Do you have 1 year of experience and 3 safe driving years as a CDL? Right. Would you rather live in South Carolina or North Carolina? I would probably live in, I don't know, probably North Carolina, because that's closer to the Blind Cat Rescue and Sanctuary. So in St. Paul's. So that's where I would rather, of those two, that's why I would go over there every single day. Picked up a load that's got to go 1,000 miles in 24 hours. Well, how are you going to do that with an ELD? Oh, wait a minute. It doesn't matter, right? That's still a lot of miles in 24 hours, though, so you better get going. And I'm just curious, since you always put your numbers out here, what kind of pay would there be on a load that goes 1,000 miles in 24 hours to you? Hey, Alexander's checking in from Monrovia, Indiana. Where the heck is that? Is that some little town in the middle of no place? Monrovia. I never heard of it. It's mostly dry in Wabash. Oh, good. Yeah, it should be. If that's Wabash, Indiana, right. Awesome. I got a new graphics for weather. Oh, so I'll be adding you to the live streams, too. Haven't heard back. All right. Trucking tips out there with the weather rolling right now. Finally, back to catch a live again, but doing night runs. CJ Hudson. Aren't they great, though? People don't like the nights. Boy, get out there at night. Everything's closed. Scales closed. Nice. Crimson Caveman. All right. 2 incidents in 3 years. What's an incident mean? Hello from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Cement hauling. That's pretty good. That should be picking up right now, right? There's a big cement hauling place here and I see those trucks going in and out there all the time now. Does anybody have Xfinity or mobile or Google Fi? How's the service? I've seen them. I have Xfinity service here, but not mobile, and they're forever sending me stuff, and I'm always curious about that too. First Fleet does have a good pay guarantee, Misty. Yeah, that's what they're doing here. So, can anyone hear Mark? I don't. I should be on. I show on here. My little lines are moving. I did check all that. Heard about GP on this channel and Smart Trucking, Kelly. Well, yeah, Smart Trucking's out there with GP Transco too. We all picked up on GP Transco and like the place. It's a pretty good place. So I don't really get any letters from people that go there either and say, Mark, you're an idiot. You sent me over here. No, those letters don't come. They're usually, hey, here's a check for $2,100 I just got or whatever. So I'm the worst driver in the United States. I can't back up. I can't go left or right. I can't go forward. But I could pick up a check. Yes, Joe, that's pretty good. I will say that doesn't make you the worst driver, probably. Barry checking in from sunny Florida Gulf Coast. High of 70 in spring break. Yeah, spring break, but you only got a few degrees on me today. Mark just jinxed to expect late season snow. No way. Because it's been so warm, the ground's warm, we are good to go. Smart Trucking, good people. Yeah, Dave. Love Dave over there. Is Western Flyer good company? No. We'll say no on Western Flyer. I did a video about them, I believe, some time ago. Now, they may have changed their ways. Let's hope they've changed their ways, I guess. Watch the video and then ask them if they've changed their ways. I'm with you, Mark, on helping at the Blind Kitty Rescue, Mike Scott. I know. I'm going to visit the place eventually. I'm going to get down there and visit Blind Cat Rescue, or anybody that's into cats or whatever. You can always just look up Blind Cat Rescue and Sanctuary. Just go ahead and do that. They have live streams. They have almost 100 cats there. Most of them are blind. It's pretty interesting. $1,600 to have a 14-mile-an-hour speeding ticket dismissed. Good price? Yeah, I'd probably pay it. How much is that ticket going to cost you over your career anyways? I mean, 14-mile-an-hour speeding ticket dismissed, that's that's a lot of money. LTL line haul is peaceful at night. That's what I'm saying. Go somewhere at night. There's nothing around. Super quiet. The bosses are all gone home because it's after 5. Yeah, not bad. Trucking tips we hear. Yeah, okay, I'm seeing the line here down here move, which I don't always look at, but since the incident, we'll call it, I try to check that stuff. You hit a bridge in New Jersey. Dang it, those bridges. Alexander, I-70 exit 59. Oh, all right. You're right down the playing field. If you go north on 39 for 10 minutes and you're in Monrovia. Oh, you're not that far from me. Awesome. Please resend the email with the subject. Okay, then again, move more than 10 over. It is, but, get that. If the 16 gets it dismissed or lowered to something like a seatbelt ticket or something, it's probably worth it. But, of course, nobody can ever guarantee it, though. The lawyer can't guarantee what happens. Tommy Cash, you ever watch Auto Transport Intel? Some rates are less than 10 cents per mile. Do I watch Auto Transport Intel? Let me see it here. There he is. Jay, you mean Jay at Auto Transport Intel? Jay's got this whole live thing started over here. Absolutely. Jay is super great. Right, I do. And I send people over there all the time that give me automotive type questions because I just don't haul cars. So it's interesting to see the other side of hauling cars. GP Transco, when we interviewed Dave from Smart Trucking 2 weeks ago, he actually said that Trucking S is the only trucking YouTube channel he watches. That is super awesome. Really? That's a big honor from Dave. And I appreciate that. Dave, certainly trust Dave 100% with what he says. That guy knows what he's talking about. And the channel is super informative. It really is. I hope everybody goes and watches it and subscribes to Dave over there at Smart Trucking. And Catherine, right? Freightliner sent a memo to all dealers about the dome light going on. Oh, so there's a thing about it? Sweet. Will mine start doing that too in this new Freightliner? It hasn't had any problems yet. We'll see. 4 or 5 days with it now. No problems other than it's a disaster of the technology. You get at Western Flyer, you get a Super Trucker Long Hood Pete governed at 63 at 34 cents. Pretty good, but I'll tell you what. That place does the same thing like Western in Colorado. They put these huge trucks that drivers love. Gauge them out, chrome them out, and then pay nothing because they got to pay for this huge truck that gets 5 miles to the gallon or whatever, 6 miles to the gallon. That costs money, and that ends up that the driver pays for it. So, I mean, you're basically paying for that hood. It's not worth it to me as a company driver to do that. Now, if you're an owner operating, you're making $4 a mile or whatever, be my guest, But to me, I'll take a Cascadia and make more money. Heartland Express seems to have changed their way. That's good because, with their merger with Millis there, I was hoping it would rub off on Heartland. Do you have any idea if the tax write-up per diem is coming back? They always talk about it and never do it. So, who knows? They said last year that, we're going to bring it back, and then they got sidetracked. So, it'd be great. The entire March Madness tourney is in Indiana. Okay, yeah, some guy took over there to the bar, was talking about it, and he flew in from North Carolina just to watch the game, and he said, if they lose, I got to go to Indianapolis, and if they win, I got to go here or whatever. I'm like, all right, pretty interesting. Crimson Cape, all covered in graffiti, no posted low bridge sign, barely scraped the top. It would be your fault. It's still my fault, yes. Ran Bubs, hello. It would always be the driver's fault for like an immovable object like that. Hey, it's Mr. Plow. Howdy, what's going on? Alexandra, if anyone thinks trucks will drive themselves anytime soon, just look at the best current technology in cars and then add 10 years for trucks. Yeah, look, my car does a lot of stuff. I wouldn't trust it to drive itself around. It's pretty good in the lines, but it's not enough to trust it. And the truck is way behind that. I totally agree with you. I don't get it. Would it be the same technology? It's terrible. Okay, I think that should be turned off. It's so bad. I watched a video from Freightliner about it. They have a discussion about it on how it's supposed to work. It doesn't work as good as the guy in the video. You know, in real use, it wasn't working like that. Flat highway. Interesting. Got a lane violation dismissed in Indiana because the trooper was going 15 on 55 on US 30. Good. You know, they should. The police should be the only ones following the law 100% of the time. Trucking, I sent you an email a week ago. Please have a look if you have some time. Okay, did I miss something? Did I miss an email? Wiring issues take a while to show up, like 50,000 miles of shaking. Well, great. So later this year I'll be in on that. All right. Alexandra, sporadic. I'm eating lunch. You can get a shot for that now too. How many GP Transco drivers are in the house today? There's always some around. Always some hanging out in here doing something. Now this Sierra England ad, I thought this was pretty interesting. I get letters from drivers showing me their $400 checks there, which really bothers me. And now they're running an ad here in Indianapolis for Dollar General. And I didn't know if any of you work there or have ever been on that account. Showing 86,000 plus on that account and Home Weekly. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to ask about that. Is that even close to being possible at this place? I mean, do they have some kind of secret pay list that they don't show? Because that seems like impossible. You're going to show up there and make 90 grand and on Dollar General. You do unload and they do say that. I just think, holy mackerel, 90,000? Ugh. Police violate the law legally all the time. Yeah, I know. They're exempt from cell phone and typing and stuff, at least here in Indiana. That's how they get away with typing all the time and looking at their computer and everything. Sam, hello everyone from just inside Nebraska. All right. Did they get the snow out of the way there yet at least? Crimson Caveman, I would be a GP Transco, but you won't hire me. Dang it. Tired of working for Western Express. Yep. Look, let's ask GP Transco that. How long, if somebody has too many accidents or whatever, how long do you want? Do you just want 3 years or 5 years? What's the story, of clean driving? Let's get that out. And then we can see where you can go from there. Just try trusting everything the GPS tells you and do that. So, yeah, let the self-driving truck, because look, that's a good point. Well, I never put that out. I didn't think about it that way. So a self-driving truck is going to have to follow its GPS, and so that may turn it down a road that has a low bridge. What is that truck going to do then? Now, it'll read the bridge. It'll have a sensor. I've seen it on 2 simple trucks and stuff like that. So it'll know that it can't fit, and it'll just have to sit there. It's probably not going to be allowed to back up. The computer wouldn't allow it to back up down a city street. So I guess it'll just call somebody. It'll call a self-driving police car to go back itself up or whatever. Let's see. Easiest would be to go on GP Transco and message us in the live chat at the bottom right corner. Oh, they have one of those little bots down there. No snow east of Omaha, just rain. Yeah, I wonder if they got it off the streets. That's what I'm saying. No, I want you to know that Chris Spear, not even on the ground. Great. Chris Spear, right, the head of the ATA, he wants you to know that you are all the soldiers of the front lines. Yep, you are soldiers of the front lines. So, does that make you feel better? That guy gets $1.3 million a year, remember, and you are soldiers of the front lines, and he's also spearheading, which I think is funny, the move to get vaccines at the clean truck stops. So, yeah, a couple drivers here have gotten them now too. So, so far no problems from the drivers here. That's good. And I'm not saying there's going to be a lot of problems, and of course, always up to you to decide that. For clean driving, okay, so here we go. For clean driving, we are looking for 3 years of no at-fault accidents at GP Transco. We suggest applying. There are a few exemptions. Yeah, look, you can always apply. That's a good point. You can apply and then talk to people there and see. And if it's not possible now, find out what date you might want to call them back, right? There'll be a day when you have a clean record, and at that point, you could then get in at that point if it's not possible. Always worth talking to somebody. So about 3 years, no at-fault. George Wilson, RVT trucker, used to talk about GP Truck Company, not to be confused with GP Transco. That is true. GP Truck and GP Transco, two different things. Yes. Alex the OTR, I haven't seen him out here for a while either. Alex the OTR driver, checking in. More has changed. I left my carrier to go to NFI for my account, but I wasn't happy with NFI. Went back to the original carrier, and now I'm Monday to Friday home daily salary. That's even better. NFI runs tons of ads around here. There's one bread company that is in Lebanon, which is 30 miles from me, so they're forever running ads. Well, deliver bread home every day or whatever. So what did you find to be a problem there, I guess, would be the thing. All right, or G&P. Right, G&P is a different company also. The Horton David, we don't get the respect of pay. Heroes make millions. Well, you can still be poor and be a hero, I guess, but here you're not a hero. You're a soldier of the front line, so you're getting soldier pay. So that's right. Soldiers of the front lines. Where does this guy come up with this? He goes, you know what I'm going to say today? Then he presses a button and somebody brings him a Diet Coke. We don't get the respect of pay. If anyone is driving I-10 in Arizona, watch out for all the illegal aliens crossing the interstate there. Is that true? I will say that down south I've seen signs there with like a family running across the street, and that's what the signs were for. So I thought, wow, rather than putting up signs, could we lock the borders a little bit better? That'd be great. Soldiers of the front lines, where's our combat pay? Because you're not another country. You only get that outside the United States. How about that? That's what they're thinking. Yeah. Do you think companies will make their drivers get the vaccine or else fire them, Luke? I think it depends what you haul. I think drivers that might be hauling, I could see some drivers that haul certain things be made to get it, and a Bill Handel with Handel on the Law, which is probably one of the best podcasts you can ever download. Hilarious. He's in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. Attorney, answers questions. He gets these questions from truck drivers and others. Right, it's not just about driving. And he said they can make you take it. Well, he actually said this. He goes, they can't make you get it, but they can force you to not work there. So that could be a requirement for work. I have not seen any companies yet, not one, that mandates the vaccine. None. I'm seeing a lot of them, probably 25% now, are paying people to go get it, which I guess is not a lot, but some are paying you to go get it. Trucker Beetle Bailey's here. Hey, what's going on? I want flat rate cents per mile, no bonus. 60 cents is a good start. All right. I want to be paid by the hour, personally. That way all your time is paid. Alexander, deliver our bread. What a loaf. Yeah, it's some kind of bread account. I don't know what. It just says bread. So I don't know, bread. I don't know if it's like loose bread in the trailer. I don't know. Truck Tips, 6 viewers. Yeah, I don't have that screen up here, so I appreciate that, though. Corey Hayes, hello from Texas. All right. We got snow in Denver. I saw that this weekend was going to be another disaster out there, so time for people that live there to move. Imagine driving an 80,000-pound truck and still being poor. Oh, that's half the drivers. It's partly the companies and partly the drivers. So drivers that are making good money, $1,500, $1,800 a week, and are poor are just spending too much money. But then there are drivers making $400 a week, $450. I get their checks. They send them. They go, this is what I made. What am I supposed to do? And so it's understandable to be poor when you're being paid poverty wages at a company that makes you sit for days, doesn't have loads. Sorry, we don't have a load. Here's $50. Yeah, so that's the company. You got to get out of there then. Believe me, if it's cheaper for you to go home than to go to work, just don't go to work. JJ, hey, what's going on? How's it going? Good times here, right? JJ, get it? Anybody get that? That's an old reference. How's looking for a used truck and was wondering what you think about Rockwell transmission. Should I totally avoid a used truck with Rockwell? Well, I always think that somebody's watching me. That's about what I know about Rockwell. How about anybody get that? Boy, man, this is a tough crowd here. Tough crowd. I'll tell you, be honest with you, I don't know. There'd be some owner-operator out here that could answer that question better for me. Believe me. I don't need to imagine it. I live it. Oh, yikes. Alex, the OTR driver, I didn't like the micromanagement equipment, the commute. Well, that's a problem. And I feel like there's favoritism. That's probably a lot of places. A long commute is always a bummer. And micromanaging drivers or anybody at any company is not a way to get any kind of good work done. Kevin, I've seen companies giving $100 to $250 to get the vaccine. Wow, $250, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We get $100 for it, $100 in 2 sections if you get to 2 of them. So, but yeah, so I've seen mid hundreds. I haven't seen $250. That's pretty good. That's getting to be enough where you might almost want to go get it. Okay, GR, how long does a failure to test, not a failed test, stay in the clearinghouse? Failure. Well, how do you get a failure to test? So are you talking about like a company said to you, go take a test and you didn't show up over there? Something like that? I mean, what exactly is the circumstances of a failure to test? I'm thinking it's going to be the same amount, but that fantastic sign with the family running was south of Tucson. Yeah. It was taken down years ago. It's like taking down the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. Okay, right. But I'm right. See, I wasn't making that up. That's that family running across the highway, right? England makes the most money from the schools. That's true. That's true. If a company mandates the vaccine to work for or continue working for them, you get sick in the hospital, they might be. Maybe. They might be. And that's why at least Handel on the Law thinks that most companies are not going to mandate it. They're just going to encourage it. But places like hospitals, people that work in there, they'll be required to get it. So those kind of places, they will have to get it. In our experience, drivers who are constantly safe usually has to do with them paying close attention to their work and much less frequently has to do with just luck. Yes, safety is mostly not luck. I'll say that. Alexander's not going to get it, even if they pay you to get it. How about that? Could they pay you to get it? Trucker Hershey will not take it no matter how much money it is. All right. Trucker J702. I got it. I always feel like somebody's watching me. One person. All right. That's good. People didn't get the JJ. There it is. Kevin gets it. Right. See? Those were good times. Didn't make it in time before they closed. So close. I've only driven with Eaton. I've never seen a Meritor transmission in a truck. I just see the name of it. Why should truckers get a vaccine in order to interact with everyone? Well, when you walk around in a truck stop or whatever is the thought that you might infect, other people or, you see some people sometimes. It depends on the driver, too. There are drivers, LTL drivers that interact with constant people all the time. So it just depends what you do in your work. Like me, I hardly ever see anybody. By the time I go in, they're closed. When I come back, they're closed. You're just in a dark yard and, easy. Throw the paperwork in the trailer and you're done. But it just depends. Some drivers are more interactive. The Great Freight Sage Logic. Hey, what's going on? The Horton David. I want to move Californians first. I won't slam the door once they leave. Trust me. Yeah, let California all leave. I'm against driver cams, but the cam on my truck only goes off when you really mess up. Their cams go off when backing up a little too hard. Alex, the OTR driver. Right. Policy, or at least I say. If you're at a place that doesn't have them and then they get them, you'll have to see how they treat you. It's certainly not worth quitting over that, I don't think. But I would quit if they started bothering you and you feel like you're going to be fired for a safety violation. But then if you're going somewhere that has a camera, that's a different story. You have to really question them on that. And I'd probably at least try to find out from other drivers that are there how they are about the camera. Some companies are good about it, where they understand driving and stuff. And some companies, any problem with the camera, you're written up automatically without even talking to you about it. So it just depends on the company. Went to the next day on Saturday, and they don't do drug tests on Saturday. So they told you like on a Friday, and then you went the next day to go get it. I wonder why the company allowed that. I will say here, they're really not even supposed to give you notice. They're supposed to send you over there. But here, what they do is he'll call and say, hey, you came up on the list. I need you to go take the test. And so he kind of needs you to go take the test that day before you come to work. So that's going to go down like a refusal to take the test, I think, because you didn't go take the test. Did they fire you for it? Were you fired for that? Let's see. Hello from Defiance, Ohio. All right, not too far. Pigpen. Waiting on a customer to see if they'll accept the load or not because the lot number on the bill of lading doesn't match what's in the trailer. Great. Well, it could be good. You might get to take the load all the way back where it came from. How about that? Actually, so that could work out. But what they'll make you do is just sit there probably until tomorrow until they can figure it out. Alex, the OTR driver, that's how ours are. We pay drivers 2 cents a mile for opting in. I know, you're the only place that I've seen it. Who do you drive for if you don't mind us asking? Yeah, you're the only place that gives you the 2 cents. I always say I wouldn't take it, but if people want to, hey, take the 2 cents. And the way I understand it, the vast majority of drivers do take the 2 cents. But again, I don't get any letters from people saying that they're being, griped at for stupid stuff there either. And so maybe worth the 2 cents, actually. Steel Horse Hot Dog. Hey, what's happening? Well, everyone else sticks to it. Driver, why not a vacation too? Also, yeah, let's get a vacation. I just took a hair test, Roger Penske. Oh, all right. We're not doing that here yet. Saw me in a video. I didn't have enough hair. I just completely shaved my face at my request. They barely got enough hair only because I didn't shave for 3 weeks. Wow. They would go, according to what people tell me and what the testing places say, this they'll get hair wherever they need to get hair from. So, you just consider where that might be. They were bothering me. All right. Well, then it's not worth it on it. Right. Especially if it's something that they don't need to be bothering you about. Somebody pulls in front of you, you hit the brakes, the camera goes off, and then they gripe at you for that. What are you supposed to do? Hit the car then so the camera doesn't go off? Stupid. American Trucker. Nice. Question, what happens to the trucking company if the self-driving truck turned the wrong way on a one-way street? Normally, they would just blame the driver. They'll still blame some driver, believe me. There'll be a driver around that they can blame. But yeah, and the problem is the truck is going to have to follow regulations. It'll be already printed in it, so it can't think yet, thank God, or it'll be out killing us. So because the truck can't think, like if it comes up to this bridge or whatever that it can't fit under, regulations are you can't back up on a city street. So it's going to sit there, and it's going to call somebody. It'll have to make some kind of call to somebody. That's the problem. It can't think its way out of a solution. Got my first COVID shot 10 days ago. All right, did not get sick. Everything's fine. Our drivers out there need to stop being cowards. Look good. They do say that the second shot makes more people sick than the first one. So you are up for the second one soon, I think, right? Anytime now? Trucker Beetle Bailey. I was broke down since Saturday because Freightliner parts was closed. Well, sure. They don't want to be open for parts for trucks that run 24 hours a day. It was a water pump. Did they get you a motel at least? Did you get to stay in a Hilton? I will say you should get at least the regular hotel. I let GP use the driver camera and have never gotten a call. Kelly. Right. That's what people write to me. Since no one says, they bother me all the time. I know that the place is not bothering people for dumb things that aren't really safety problems. And so you get the 2 cents over a year. That's a couple of $1,000 or more, right? That's money. And they don't bother you about things. Plus, I do think, like GP Transco said, they're getting better drivers that have less camera problems. Most of our trucks have cameras in them, and it's always the same people I hear about that are getting camera problems. One person will be on the camera 5 times, and then other people never. So there you go. Not taking the shot, James Bass. Not enough testing. Let's see what happens to folks in a couple of years. All right. Cash King Trucking, I think if a company wants you to take a random drug test, they should do it during your work hours, not during your off-duty hours. Well, you would have to log that. The company requires you to go over there, so I think it's log time, personally. And that's true, but like here, I don't know how they would do it here. Like my work hours are late. They can't have me go do it at 1 a.m. The place is closed. So, they just send you, every place I've ever been just sends you to some industrial, medical place or whatever. I don't know how you do it during your work hours. And for drivers that are on the road, I don't know what they do. Misty, I'm seeing all kinds of people on my plane. Yeah, that's awesome. Planes are filling up. They said the first time with like 1 million passengers in a year, so that's good. Mike Scott, do you work a second shift position doing swap outs? Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Okay, I go down to the Natty and change trailers and come back. Yep. That's Cincinnati for you older people. Negative. It was my last day to work for this company. Oh, okay. Oh, and they said, go take the drug screen. Oh, that's pretty interesting because it was your last day. All right. And then you didn't go until the next day, but it wasn't there. Did you try to go back Monday? Refusal of a test is the same as positive. Don't do it. Take the test. I agree. But the next got to be the same day they tell you. I will say that. That's a real problem. You can't go the next day when you're notified of the drug test. You've only got a couple hours to get there earlier in violation. Steel Horse. That's what I thought, right? They tell you you're supposed to go over there. I don't even think really that he's supposed to call you. Isn't that correct? To say, hey, go over and take the test. Don't they have to give it to you and send you to go do it right away? Now, they do call you here for people that have been there. I've been there a long time, and he knows I'm going to go take it. But I think I think they're supposed to let you know at work. Going to test has to be on duty time. Yeah, we log it here because you get paid for it. So certainly get it logged here. And they require you to go over there, so I certainly think it needs to be logged. Absolutely. Let's see. Is the PS4 winner from last week in the chat today? Oh, that's a good question. I'm looking at my butt here. They said they would take it wherever it needs to be taken. Went to California to feed veterans. Truck was featured on Ellen. Really? That's pretty good. Which episode? Oh my gosh, does she put that on YouTube? That is awesome. Oakley Transport has cameras, but they give you passes on hard stops. Yeah, look, if it's not constant and somebody pulls in front of you or whatever, that's the thing. They need to have somebody really think about, is this driver doing something unsafe or not? Trucking Journeys is here. Hello. David, I got a message about idling too much. 11%. My only response was I was idling to build air. That's the only thing you can do while idling, if you think about it. Trans won't work. That's correct. It has to be full of air. I will say this, when the truck's off, it should stay full of air. Okay, so if it's losing its air, unless it's a long period of time, they should fix the truck. That's what I would gripe at them about. Hey, why don't you fix the truck? They locked everywhere. Armpits everywhere. All right, well, that's the problem of going in there without hair. Kelly, for example, I had to hit the hard enough to stop for a light. That definitely triggered the camera, but never got a call from safety. How long well, you never got a call, so I'm wondering how long it normally takes them to call something like that. But look, if you're stopping at the light, why would they gripe about that? Unless you're not paying attention. You're eating a sandwich and yelling at somebody out the window. But I mean, if you're just doing your job and the light changes, sometimes you got to stop. Would they rather, that's the thing about companies, would they rather the driver blast through the light? Probably not. Paul Harris, sounds great. Who you drive for? Yeah, that's the thing about it. Well, I do this every week. But I don't really say who I drive for, and that keeps them out of videos. Too many of these companies now are out watching all videos and stuff. Keeps them out of there. I also don't recruit for the place. They need drivers, but they can go get them themselves. So, but I do think if you like your company, go ahead and recruit for them. I'm just not going to do that here. It just was always something I said on the channel. I would never do that. So, and I'm not doing it. So, Misty, blame the driver. Exactly. It's not cowardice. It's about bodily autonomy. Alexandra, sure. Look, I'm for either way. I think everybody should have the choice for all that stuff. Most likely looked at the 30-second footage and saw that it was a normal thing that would not constitute a call. GP Transco. Well, that's good. See, that's what a company should do. Some places, and I get these letters, just automatically call. Boom, you're on camera. Boom, you got to talk to them. Like every camera thing is some kind of incident, and it isn't. Everything that triggers the camera is not necessarily unsafe. It just triggers the camera. If a company would just take 2 seconds to look, they could install cameras. Drivers would never gripe about it. 2 shots. They're really milking the pandemic. A couple of the companies, right, are 2, and there's one with 1 shot. I don't exactly know the deal. Mike Scott, you got popped for random on a Friday for random. You better get to the clinic on Friday. Showing up on Saturday is a refusal. I think so, right? You should go immediately, or in a reasonable amount of time to wherever the clinic is and sign in and tell them I'm here for my drug test. That's how it works. Otherwise, they're going to put it down as a refusal for the drug test. Trucker Beetle Bailey was at the Marriott with room service. Now, look, I'll tell you this. Something like what happened there with the truck in the shop is very infrequent. So if they put you up at a nice hotel, okay, that goes a long way in keeping a driver. That extra. So they spent $100 and some on a room or whatever. I know, Cash is King Trucking just drove off the road. $100 a night. That's how you keep a driver. That's exactly. It costs minimal, way less to keep a driver than to hire somebody else. Misty staying in Hilton's all week while bobtailing. Oh, I hope you have the honors reward card. Get all those points. That's right. Oh, you're going to bobtail a day cab back? Oh, sweet. Probably looked at the video and saw they will not call unless they see a problem. Trucker Hershey, that's great. Cowards. We're all cowards. Tony 5000. I got hair tested once, and hair has been the same length for 20 years. That they want a history? Yeah, it's been boring. Okay. They said they'll get it wherever they need to. That is the quote. That's the quote that they said. I figured they were something like that we're using a comparison to other companies. Yeah, Kelly, exactly. So they're just, as long as I'll look at the video and say, is this something reasonable or is this something unsafe? That's all. And then they can talk to only a few people. And it's probably the same people all the time that they have to talk to. There's a small percentage at every company that are the ones that have to be monitored and talked to, really. And that literally ruins it for everybody. When you're working over the road, Trucking Journeys, they'll pull you in to a terminal and tell you have to go do this before you can leave on your next load. All right. And good. So then you go do it right away. Don't wait. Hands up for those that love automatics and driving in New York City. Busted well at garage. Yeah, automatics have their place, right? Can you shift gears yourself? That aggravates me on this truck too. No manual mode, no performance mode. They're disabled by the company. The law is 24 hours to get tested. I recommend, I don't know exactly the law, but I would say go immediately. When you're told to be tested, go take the test. Got my 4th truck on the road, hammered down. That's great. How do you get drivers when you only have a few trucks? I'm just curious. My carry does not bother me, which is why I came back. Plus, I'm happy that I'm home daily and a salary. That's well worth it. Never got a call until I got to NFI. I also had a call about doing a 10-minute pre-trip. How do they know that? Because of the log. What did they say about a 10-minute pre-trip? I mean, too long or too short? I'm serious. The railroad is a company that comes to perform the test. Ernest. Oh, all right. So they show up for you. Here's a cup. He goes, do you want me to hold it or will you hold it? Hair test let me go 3 days. Wow. I wouldn't recommend it. University of Arizona at Tucson. I would recommend you go right away. I've set off my sensor, got a video recording message, and never gotten a call. How do you get a video recording message? Oh, because of the thing. Yeah, but if they don't call you, we're all set. J.J. Walker catchphrase. That's what I was hoping people had watched Good Times, but people may not know what that is. 1970s sitcom. Hilarious. I'm not getting the shot because in 10 years you'll see PSAs on TV talking about issues from getting vaccinated. The hammer is going to be out there. And Sam Nunn, for all you Indiana residents, right? He already has your medical reports. Doing a 10-stop in Albuquerque to Vegas. Wow. Yikes. Of course, like we said, only a few pieces each stop. They can't stack them too high. They stack them deep and sell them cheap. Kelly, I was at Chima Freightline. It's only had a drug test in 2 years. The pre-employment, and that's it. You get lucky. Like, I'll go here a year or 2 years with nothing, and then the next year 3 times. They're forever having me go over there. So, but each time I go over there. I mean, I can't say, well, I'll go whenever. You got to pretty much go. I'm here for the blah, blah, blah. Right. I'm here for your blah, blah, blah. Mr. Skeptical, just go to YouTube and type in Ellen delivers meals to frontline workers at Dodger Stadium. That's pretty good. Are you in there too, or just the truck? And did you get to go talk to Ellen? That'd be pretty awesome. Who do you work for? Trucking Journeys, right? $100 is what is that? A weekly rate? Cash scheme trucking. I know. When he's, I'm thinking $100, and then I thought of you immediately, going, wow, that must be an extended stay. I got notified in LA for a test. My DM faxed me the order to the clinic where the LA drivers go. Okay, yeah, you gotta. They know where you are and stuff, but I just recommend to people, if they tell you have to take a random, go take a random. Like, as soon as possible. I've got an excellent opportunity locally in the San Francisco Bay Area. I hope it's an automatic. I found out they have inside cameras that made me sick. It's Hub Group. I didn't know they had cameras. I've never had an inside camera. What do you think? It depends. Is anybody here for Hub Group? I think there are some drivers from Hub Group. Do they bother you about the camera? Because there's a lot of traffic there. And do you have to go up and down the streets in town there? When I go to the truck stop restroom, it's like a haunted house. Choose door 1 or 2. Yeah, well, it's like, let's make a deal, except they're all 3 zonks. All 3 doors. I do have Hilton Honors. I've gotten 500,000 points. I pay for my hotels to get reimbursed. Yeah, imagine here's a whole week of paid Hilton hotels and all the points. You're going to be staying, on your next vacation for free. That's pretty awesome. Driving behind a cow truck, how can you stay behind them? All these ag haulers, right, go 175 miles an hour. Too short. I have to do a 15-minute pre- and post-trip. I never once got a call for my 10 to 13-minute pre-trip at 5 minutes. So they say it must be 15 minutes. What if it's longer? And here's the thing to tell NFI, that there's no actual time in the FMCSA guidebook for it's supposed to be logged as it's done. So they actually talk about it in some of their guidance that if it takes 30 minutes, it's supposed to take 30 minutes, whatever you're looking at, if you happen to need to look at something more closely. So they can't actually, they can mandate a minimum time, I would say, but they can't really mandate that it has to take a certain amount of time. I'm fine with auto ship, but I want to drive one that has manual mode disabled. Look, because of what I do, just going to the Natty, it doesn't bother me that much because, let's be honest, there's not like huge hills and stuff going down there. I will say on the road, I'd want it enabled. I think the driver should be able to control the gears, just like in your car, for safety. Downhills and stuff, I can't control the shifts. I can't hold the gear or anything. It is disabled by your carrier. So, because for fuel mileage. Driver-facing cameras BS, plain and simple. I don't like them. Look, I don't like them, but they're coming, and there's no way to stop them now. There just isn't. I know everybody will say, well, we can strike or whatever. That is not going to happen. Only waited because both Safety Department and Concentra said that it was okay. Yeah, as long as they're all right with it. I'd want that in writing. The furniture definitely isn't cheap. I mean, they have like $10,000 couches. Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's cheap. I'm saying they can't stack it. So each place is not going to get, 38 couches. They won't all fit in there. Yeah, look, some of that stuff can be a lot of money. I hear you. I have a $38,000 couch here. Oh, no, wait. I meant $38 couch. That's right. Salvation Army. Got it. This 10-minute pre-trip is acceptable over here. It's minimum time requirement. Right. Some places, Steel Horse, are just like, if you don't at least sit on duty for so many minutes, it's that's the thing. They want it a certain time, but they don't want you to actually do it. They just want the time logged. Columbia, Georgia, it's your duty. There's duty again to immediately go to the drug testing facility when given notice. I recommend you go as soon as possible, unless they're like, be there by 4 or something. Go right away. Otherwise, they put that on there. That can stay on. Who knows? Steel Horse, do you know that? How long do things stay on the clearinghouse? I mean, is that like a credit report? Is that going to be on there 7 to 10 years, something like that? My adopted black senior diabetic female cat named Swoosh says hi to Gracie. Mike Scott. That's pretty awesome. Gracie would say hello, but she's exhausted and sleeping. And she's not out here today, so the sun is out. She probably fell asleep in the sunbeam that comes in the back. I got an inspection from port, and I just told the girl that she has big and her thing is large without question. She let me go right away. There you go. That's how to do it. I'm sure that went over good. Yikes. I work for Zenith Freight Lines. We unload our own trailers. Give them a call and watch my video on them. Yes, Trucking Answers video. That's correct. Zenith. A little unloading, but not like, it's certainly not like unloading, at a grocery warehouse or something like that. And you get a cart. The order for the test was a specific location. I couldn't get there before they closed. Well, that's a different story. I think if they say you have to go a place and it's like 3 hours away and, they close at 2, that's going to be a problem. So I do all that in writing, but absolutely. But here, when they call you, right, the place is 10 minutes from here. So I would have little excuse to not go there, especially because they always call. They'll call at noon or whatever, and they close at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And so what would be my excuse to not go there, I guess, until the next day? I'm not on it. In it, but that does show the truck rolling in the beginning. That's you driving. All right. That is pretty awesome. You're on. I would put that down on my resume. Also guest on Ellen's show. And then they can drive their own trucks. Look, they're working on it. Korean Mafia requires 15-minute pre- and post-trip, but we can log both in the same 15 minutes when we drop and hook. Okay, fair enough. I'm scared driving without manual option. I get going too fast and can't ride the brake or Jake enough to slow down. I need the gears too, the Horton David. I agree. Look, on mountain driving, I would want it to be able to hold the gear. The Jake, is okay for around here, no problem. But I don't like the way it runs the RPMs up, and I can't determine when it shifts going uphill and stuff. I wouldn't want it on the road where it couldn't do it. When I worked at England, the truck had a manual mode, but after some time, the truck would limit itself to 35 miles. Yeah, so you are doing better than me, because the company can go in and disable those things like they have here. There's a performance mode too, but that's disabled as well. When we first got automatics years ago, they had those modes and they were not disabled. And I think some bean counter probably said, hey, if we disable that, we get 0.03 of a mile per gallon better. Your Alexander, your spider says hello as well, maybe. We don't really know what they say, right? So where did that thing go over here? Oh, there it is right here. The spider says hello as well. Spider. Yikes. That goes with this, right? Oh, right. Oh, yikes. What? Spiders. Holy moly. Spiders. We don't know. We can't speak their language. I don't think the hair test was a DOT order. I think it was a dry run for the Korean Mafia. Yeah, the only thing that counts for the DOT is the urine test at the moment. That's why companies that do the hair test also do a urine test. So they're working on getting it legalized, and I do think that they will come. Chris Spear, who, remember, said you're soldiers of the front line. The ATA is pushing hard for hair testing. And pushing hard means, pushing some money towards politicians. But, of course, they don't pay for votes or anything. That's what they'll tell you, of course. Required to show 15 minutes on pre-trip, however I get paid for it. John P. Well, absolutely you show it or you're getting paid for it. That's correct. Loaded trucker, hello, Magnum is testing forward driver and outside rear-facing cameras. The latter are mounted near the sleeper. Wow. Outside rear-facing cameras, really? Can you see that view in the truck? I think that might be actually helpful. If you had a screen where you could view that. With a manual transmission, I never had a problem driving in the mountains. Right. All they're going to do is let you control it yourself. All cars can, so what's the problem of having it in the truck controlled? It would also like more than 45 horsepower going uphill. Yeah. Where's my shoe? No, not for that Spider. That's an expensive Spider. 5 years it shows on the clearinghouse for 5 years or until you get resolved through the FMCSA. Okay, Steel Horse. So that's going to show for 5 years on that clearinghouse. And that is a real problem. That's a super big problem. That you're going to have to clear that up somehow, either through the FMCSA or a lawyer or something, or that you're going to have to sit with that on there for 5 years. My truck, gear jammer, my truck has a 12-speed automatic, which is common. It will hold steep grades without touching it, even with the Jake brakes on. I just don't like the way that it shifts in automatic. When you have the Jake on, going downhill, it's not as controllable as I'd like it to be. It can't see what's coming up or what the road surface is. I think that companies hire us because they presume, at least, that we know what we're doing. And so they should let us do our job without impeding it with ridiculous controls on the truck. They put you in a truck and then limit the way that you can control the truck. And you're the driver of the truck. You should be able to control the truck. The GP auto shifter I have, the manual mode is disabled, but it will hold a gear until the engine blows going downhill. That's the other thing, right? On like the big hill on 275, right? It goes to like 2150, which I think is crazy, but I can't do anything about it. It won't let me do anything about it. So that's the gear that it holds coming out of the Nandy. There's nothing I can do about it. Columbia, George. Who do you drive for? Yeah, look, I don't like to say who I drive for. People that put out videos, they kind of get in your videos and get all up in your business. That's what kids say. But so I keep them out of it, right? And I also don't recruit for them. And if you like your company, recruit for them. But I don't recommend recruiting for them either. Let them find their own drivers. Steel Horse, there's a link for you to the clearinghouse to see it and maybe try to start the process of getting it cleared out of there. I don't understand drug testing. Most guys drive better if they're a little paranoid. Everybody should be slightly paranoid. Alexander, spiders are friends, not for squishing. I agree. Look, I'd scoop that thing up and take it outside. That's what I do here. I stopped the truck to allow a fly to leave the window without the truck moving so that the fly isn't injured. Okay, and I have done that many times. 5 years ago to work for Western Express. That's already the problem, is at Western Express, and that's going to be a long time with it on there. Is it go off of there? Is it so after 5 years it is no longer viewable? That's the whole key. Upshifting downhill in an auto is dangerous. It generally won't shift beyond its revs, just like a car. But I think that you should be able to control it so that you can put the gear you want in advance as you come up to a hill and hold it there. I don't think Western Express would hire you either because of insurance. Look, if Western Express won't hire you, you have a huge problem. If they won't hire you, your only shot then is to go to some local company in your area, whatever's around you. Go find them in the yellow pages, which are at the library. Somebody that's got 4 trucks or 5 trucks, and go talk to the boss and say, look, here's the deal. This is what happened. And if that doesn't work, you're going to have to Uber. Seriously. I'm not sure if there's a live feed screen in the cab. It could be helpful. I've only seen it on another driver's truck, loaded trucker. If there isn't, I think you should ask them to put the feed of those cameras right into the truck. I think it'd be actually a safety thing. How come when I go into truck stops, there's always an iron skillet red burrito blowouts? That's a problem. Even at the shipper, I saw a sign saying drivers use the portage on the parking lot. Part of that is their own fault. Let's admit that. If I went to these drivers' houses, would that be how they treat their own bathrooms? Hopefully not. Does their bathroom in their house look like that? Come on. We can be a little more reasonable in our Taco Tuesday, certainly. James Bass, I agree. I don't like the automatics for driving in the mountains. The engine retarders are not near as good as the manual with the Jake. Yeah, because you can't control the gearing, I don't like the way that is. I don't want to run down a hill at 2100 with the jakes on. I think that's too much retardation, as they say. So I don't want to, possibly get into a skid that I wouldn't otherwise have to get into because I'm putting so much, force on that to slow down. I just don't like it. I want to be able to control that for all the factors that are around me at that second, not what somebody in an office thinks the truck should do, later. I don't think so. Fast Joe is going to say no experimental vaccines on me. You can call it a vaccine, but it's definitely not a vaccine. All right, fair enough. Don't get it. My concern was that I test positive as a result of my recent surgeries and Percocet. I haven't heard anything. I was told that it was okay. Yeah, if it's prescribed and you write it down there, right? The worst thing, you're going to get a call from the medical review officer if they find something in there and ask you about it. And you should say, look, I have a prescription. Here's the story. And you should be okay on it, as long as it doesn't impact your driving. Hello from North Carolina, Bill 777. Big Pen, they got the okay to take the load. I guess I wouldn't have minded to take it back. I picked it up in Cranberry. I would mind that. What do you think about doubles and triple trailers? I think it's triple your fun, and you get paid 3 times the money for it. Most places pay a little bit extra for it, and they have first one and second one. They'll follow each other around. So I've done doubles, not triples. They follow each other around, no problem. They're not hard to hook up. I got no problem with it. We still have manual mode, still horse for the transmission, but we run coast to coast. I think you should. And so then you get to control it. You decide. And companies think drivers are going to be putting it in manual mode all the time. That is not true. Okay, just when you need it. Otherwise, you let the truck shift. But drivers are not going to shift that thing by themselves. But the times we need it, it's just not there. It's not allowed for us. If you have a current prescription, you won't have a problem unless the accident box is checked. They might call you, but I think you'll be okay. It doesn't matter what you have, really, basically. The Falcon Eye camera system has 8 cameras, and you can get a 10-inch screen to watch the live feed for $1,500. Wow. Look, if the company's putting mounting cameras that face back on the sleeper, I'd love that to be a screen in there that would actually help. I think that would be a good safety feature. Where am I out of? I'm out of headquarters here in beautiful Lafayette, Indiana. World headquarters. Plus, you'll have to use the brakes too much with an automatic going down the mountains, running a heavy risk of smoking the brakes. Unless you have these new disc brakes, right? They're pretty fancy. Amy D. Thompson Bernard. I drive for Cedar Point. We have mostly automatics. You just have to learn how to play with the tranny is all. Yeah, look, I shouldn't have to learn how to play with the tranny, really. There's no reason that a company can't have the transmission do what it's designed to do from the maker of it and the factory, which is put it in manual mode if you need to. I can hold a gear, and so it's not shifting at a stupid time when I don't want it to shift. I may not want it, especially in the winter. I'm climbing a hill. It did this to me. Almost didn't make it out of Cincinnati. I'm climbing out of that hill, and it's snow, like covered. You couldn't see anything. You couldn't see the road or anything. So I'm going up the hill. I don't want it to shift, but it shifted. So I lost the momentum right then for a second. Fortunately, I grabbed back in and it took off again, but I could have lost all my momentum. Had I had manual mode, I would have had it stay in that gear. It wouldn't have shifted. I would have just continued up at the same speed. It wasn't for the company to decide at that moment, to drive that truck for me. I'm the one driving the truck. Believe me, I need to be able to control all of the features of the truck for specific circumstances. Now, does that happen all the time? No. But, that could have resulted, if it was too slippery, I could have slipped back down the hill or anything like that because they didn't let me control the truck. That's why they have me, right? That's what I do. I'm a driver. They should let me take control of the truck. Steel Horse Insurance puts forth requirements for who we could hire and who we may not. That's why, that's so a bigger place, right, is not going to take somebody. But I think some guy that's got, or woman or whatever, right, before I get a bunch of emails, some person that has 4 trucks and may give you a shot. Maybe. May give you a shot. I tip the host, Roger Moore. I appreciate that. The Trucking Answers Porno channel. Well, we could try that. I don't know how that would go. YouTube won't allow that, so I'll have to try that in some other way. I wonder if people would pay to not watch it, certainly. Company won a couple years of recent experience to get hired. Not able to work for 5 years because of a drug test, put you out of business. Yes. So if you were not able to get a job for 5 years because of that, what's going to happen is you'd probably have to go back through training. That's a real problem. Holy mackerel. Back to Western Express. Having an interview tomorrow with Dot Foods. I've heard nothing but good things about them. That is correct. Great place, and everybody's got to eat. So, and I just heard that they're just back to hiring now. They haven't hired for a while, and they're back to hiring. So I hope it goes good over there. Let us know how it goes. Kevin, hey, it's going good. Thank you very much. Fast Joe about the abortionists, abort the abortionists, keep the babies. All right, fair enough. That is very true. Automatics do not take into account there's snow on the ground. It will shift gears up and down and cause jackknives and spinouts. That's correct. In the few situations that I need to be able to use the gears myself, it doesn't let me. Climbing a hill, even though it's not like a big hill on 275, in 2 inches of snow on the ground and it's snowing heavy, I would not shift up that hill, right? It would have slow going and it would have maintained the speed. But no, here we go. We got to shift up. We got to save fuel. Right. No way. No way. That's unsafe. Don't like it. Not true. The Jake brakes on the automatics works just like the manual transmission. You don't have to ride your brake down the mountain grade with an automatic. Right. You can just hit it, but then I would never use it in an automatic on snowy hills probably because it'll run up 2,100, 2,200 RPMs. That's way high to hit Jakes on a snowy hill, I think. The company should let me decide that. That's why they hire me. Steelhorse, the FMCSA does have a return to work for positive testing. It's a lot of hoops to jump through. You cannot return to work until the treatment is finished. What do you think about this on someone who does not take the test? Would that also require the return to work? Because you didn't really get a positive, right? You just had what I guess they would probably put down as a refusal. Do you think that driver has to complete a return to work before they can work? Gear Jammer, this is the first truck I ever drove in 39 years with an automatic. I thought it would be a runaway. I thought it would run away down a mountain grade, but I found out that it goes just fine. They normally do. But I think of the weather, I want to control it. Cash is Gig Trucking. If you ain't tipping, you must be tripping. I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. I got trained by some Russians that couldn't speak English. I'm not ready to go back to that. Well, hey, somebody's got to speak Russian. And slow traffic, about 20 mile per hour truck kept shifting up one, down one in every 5 seconds. Right, because it's not able to look ahead. It can't think. That's the problem. Of course, if it did, look what would happen. It would run us all over as soon as it could think. Dave Johnson, 2 demerits, but you're here. All right, well, it's good to see you. If your show's on Fridays, your tips will be bigger. Oh, I didn't think about that. All right, that's okay. That's all right. Show's always free for everybody, but I appreciate it, but never thought about it. See, the thing about the rest of the week, I don't know what time I get in. That's why I've had it on Monday, because I'm off Sunday, obviously. So I know that I know I could plan this time. If there for some reason I'm held up or whatever, I might not be able to get to those times, and I don't want to do that, so. I would tip at Western Express has me sit for 3 days and give me $35. Ramsey Gateman. Well, let's ask this. Was it $35 a day or was it $35 for the whole 3 days? And so here's the problem. You sit 3 days and get $35 and Western Express is part of the ATA. I think they're an ATA member. And so they probably go to Chris Spear, remember? Soldiers of the front lines for all of us, and say, look, we can't get any drivers. And he's like, don't worry, I'll go to government and I'll get them to give you some money. That's the problem. $35 for 3 days is just not acceptable. You could have been at home and you would have only made $35 less than you did at work for the 3 days. I chipped in, Amy D. Thompson Bernard. I chipped in on the toilet humor yesterday. Sometimes the unisex family rooms are disgusting. The woman's head is usually pretty clean, but even we suffer from bad drivers. I always picture the woman's bathroom, to be honest with you, with multiple couches, potpourri, and just generally white and pristine, to be honest with you. $35 one time. So you got $35 for 3 days. That is barely more than if you just sat at your house for 3 days. That's a shame. In the industry. That is a real shame. Why didn't they have you do anything for 3 days? Let me ask you that. What are they doing over there? Drove an auto in the Rocky Mountains during the snow. Then I will listen to you how great the autos are in the mountains. Yeah. Look, I don't like it just going in the few hills I have here. There are times when you need to lock the gear in. Has anyone asked a REQ? Who can live on $35 for 3 days? Exactly, Alexander. Exactly. I mean, that's barely more than sitting at home. I mean, that's crazy. You easily, I'll tell you from my time, just already this last week, you could easily Uber and make way more money than that. And you may want to consider that. You actually may want to consider that. If your Jake causes your engine to go over 2,000, then especially in snow, you're moving too fast. No, look, when you let off, it automatically does that all the time, constantly. Now this one isn't as bad. That 19, maybe because was more broken, it would go to 2,300 constantly. This one I've already seen 2,150 in it. I've only had it a few days, and I don't get to control that. When you let off the fuel, I don't get to decide what speed where it downshifts or whatever. The truck does all that, so it does that all the time. I would never think to do that to a truck, but that's how they do them. Gear Jammer, I agree with you, Mark. I would still rather have a 13-speed or a 10-speed because I'm just used to them after all these years. I agree. I think a 13-speed on the road manual is the way to go. That's totally the way to go. Roger Moore, having a scheduled time slot is the way to go, even though Cash is streaming 24/7. I never seem to catch him. That's true. He's live streaming his own show at this time. Cash is Geek Trucking. Look, like one of the greatest channels on YouTube. Absolutely. Everybody should go subscribe over there. Absolutely. Mondays are typically really good for Super Chats because everybody does lives on Friday and Saturday hoping to get more money. Oh, really? Well, I never thought about it that way. So people schedule it, just say, oh, I'm going to do this to get more money. That's always the problem. People are always trying to get rather than trying to give. So, okay. All right. Sweet. Remember, the show's always free, and I always maintain that, right? Even one of the last shows on YouTube, I think that goes live with no ads. So, too, also ads are turned off for this as well. So you would eat more than $35 in food. You're gonna have to space that out, right? You're gonna have to get like 6 footlongs or whatever, right, and space them out over the time. I mean, look, that's a shame. It's a shame that even happens at trucking. They should say, all right, we don't have anything for you, so here we're just gonna go pay you. And we're going to try to get you something. I mean, to just have you sit and not give you anything, I mean, come on. $35, I would drive that truck to the nearest terminal and clean it out. James, I agree. Look, you should certainly get out of there immediately. Go home and Uber. Do you have a car? Go and Uber. If you don't think you'll make more than $35 in 3 days of Uber, I'll tell you different. All right. Amy, I solved the problem with a 5-gallon bucket, a toilet, camping seat, and deodorizer bags of cat litter. Neat and tidy cat. See, you should have added that in there. I've been in some nasty ladies' rooms, Alexander. Lucky that's usually not the case. Yeah, don't they all have potpourri in there and an attendant that hands you a towel? That's how I picture it. Couches, multiple couches, stuff like that. That's how I think it is in there. Robert Johnson, does anyone ask the recruiter, you can make more. Where did I go off to? Oh, and I'm lost. Right. There we go. You can make more than $35 just opening an OnlyFans page. Yeah, that people would ask me to close it. Yeah. Ask why they don't pay. Yeah, I'm curious. Why were you sitting that whole time? I mean, where were you? What were they doing? David, Uber won't let me use your 66 Mustang. It's too old. Well, also, it's only 2 doors. So in Indiana, 15 years old, 4 doors, air and heat have to work. All the seatbelts have to work, and no stickers, anything like that, and not heavily modified. So they'll take a pickup truck, but it has to be sitting on its normal suspension. Other than that, look, you got it. You can certainly make more than $35. The link below to satisfy the FMCSA, they list that as a refusal to test in this case. Ugh. That's a problem. The only good thing about the auto is that you can slow the truck much faster. Yeah, because it automatically dejakes it. Go, oh, okay, this guy wants to slow down, and click on 2,200 RPMs immediately. Let's drop 4 gears. $35, 48 cents an hour. I would have sold fuel from their fuel card. You almost could. I bet owner-operators come into truck stops and probably, they can't ask on the CB because Western Express drivers probably can't afford a CB, but they have to go to the Western Express driver and go, well, no, you're not making any money. How'd you like to make a couple $100 here? The easy way, as they say. Gear Jam, remember this, Mark. I told you this before. The ladies' restroom has more nasty words in the walls than the men's room because the women have both hands free. Oh, they can write faster. Right. They can write on both sides of the wall. No potpourri or couches or attendant. Half the time we're looking at toilet paper. Well, I saw that on Seinfeld, right? If you just ask for a square, you can always get at least one square. Can't you get a square? How about a square? Everybody, I'm sure everybody saw that. It can't just be me that saw that episode. It was pretty good. That's just how I picture the women's restaurants. Your Jimmer has it right. Exactly. So that's where all the drivers with pens are. I was stuck in line again behind some driver without a pen. The guy hands the paperwork. He's like, and they just look at each other. He's like, do you have a pen? I'm like, why don't you have a pen? Bring a pen. You know you're going to be signing things. You're going in to get your paperwork. There's no pen in my entire truck. Get a box of pens. Of course, I guess if you make $35 in 3 days, you really can't afford pens. That place has got to be, it's got to be closed. I mean, you got to put out a bunch of reviews of this place anonymously or whatever you need to do, because people need to know about that before they go there. I sold a few load bars and a 10-gallon of DEF one time. Roger Moore, there's always somebody looking for a load bar. Alexander can only write with one hand because you're right-handed. If I lost my right hand, you'd stop writing. Yeah, the other side, it's all scribbly. That's how you could tell. The left wall, and there's probably everything's all scribbled on there. Ernest can't spare a square. Women's rooms have pillows, too. Yeah, right. What about pillows? Aren't there pillows in there? What are they for? We don't know. We want to know more about this. I assume the women's porta-johns are the same way. The pink porta-johns. TJ Jones in the Bull of the Woods. Hello. Greetings from the original Cabales home office, Sydney, Nebraska. Oh, Cabela's. Okay. 47 and overcast. That's still not bad, right? I stopped there one time because of a windstorm. They were making everybody get off. I remember parking in their parking lot for a while. They directed trucks to park in there, and then they let us all go again. Yeah, Sydney, Nebraska. Hey everybody, happy Monday. Fleet Nav Systems is here. Won't be here very long. 15 minutes, but check in. Don't forget to watch their show every time you can. Let's see, where do I go off to here? Right here. Fleet Nav Systems. They're Geotab experts. How about that? And it's good to see you today. For beating our heads against the wall. Okay, right. Do special show at the manhole to increase tips. There's plenty of tips at the manhole for sure. However, remember, everybody comes in the rear there. Trucker Jamboree still goes along July 8th to 10th. Don't forget about that. You get an extra month this year to file your taxes, too. Did all you already file your taxes? Too bad you didn't have to. You got till May 17th this year. I guess there's no CR England drivers. I was hoping to find a CR England driver that could tell me about their ad that they're running now in Indianapolis and Lafayette at least. Probably farther. Dollar General, $86,000 plus home weekly. That's their ad, and I just don't believe it. I want to hear from somebody making, $90,000 at England and is home every week. No way do I believe it. Alexander, my bathroom at home has pink rugs and tapestries. It looks like a Pepto got excited all over the place. That's great. That's great. This bathroom is green here, so pretty nice though, right? It's always interesting going to other people's houses and you look in their bathroom like, oh, a fuzzy toilet seat. Awesome. That's funny. I've sold load bars 28 to 9 was really bad time. Look, you got to do what you got to do. It's illegal though. Don't sell people stuff. But look, a company shouldn't give you $35 for a weekend, but I don't think you should sell their stuff. All right. I just want to be clear about that. That's not right. What your option is then is to quit. A company that doesn't pay you properly, your option is to quit. Certainly not selling their stuff or whatever. It's certainly not the right thing to do. It's fun to talk about it, but your option is to quit. And if they couldn't get anybody to do it, they would have no choice. Crimson Caveman, losing signal in Toledo. I don't know why anyone works here. I agree with you. And if no one worked there, they couldn't pay you that kind of money. What did they say about leaving you sit for those days? Alexander, there's plenty of tips over here. That's what she said exactly. Unfortunately, she was not at the manhole, turns out. James Bass, the manhole sounds nasty to me. Well, it's a club for the weekend. I got a band there, so I would prefer a paint scheme in my fleet like the old defunct Chicago Northwestern Railroad. Oh, that'd be good, right? It's expensive to paint a fleet up, custom like that on a color that's not otherwise offered, though. I have a 92 F-150. Can't Uber with that. That is true. Look, I'll tell you this, Crimson Caveman, all right? In some cities, and I don't know where you live, but you can go on the Uber website. They will let you use a car from Enterprise or Hertz. They have a deal with them. When I say use, I mean you got to pay for it. It's $200 a week, I think, for like a Sentra. But I'll tell you this. If you quit and did that full time and paid $200, that includes maintenance and the plate and everything, you would still make more than $35 in 3 days. Okay, you would. You'd have to work, 8-10 hours a day, probably 12 hours a day. But you'd be home every day, and you get to use that car all the time. If that's something you're interested in, go look into it. Okay, and it's not like Uber pays me or anything for it. I thought, I'm just going to sign back up. Not really sign up, but update my stuff and go do it and see if you can make money. And I think just from the short period I did last week, yeah, we'll have a few more days and then video. But absolutely. The Horton David pillow fights after bra snapping has always been my hunch, but it's good to know the frustration is universal. Yeah, well, is that what's going on in there? That's why everybody goes together. Bill 777 had a guy try to sell some cheap fuel in Iowa. I told him to get lost. I guess he worked for the same low, no-paying company. Yeah, look, you're stealing the fuel. It's illegal. Just quit. That is always the option for a company that is not paying you properly. Take them their equipment back and quit and say, look, for $35, I might as well stay home. That is barely more money than they would have made staying home. My sister and husband work for Transport America, Jeff. I got a $20,000 sign-on bonus as a team paid over 9 months. That is super awesome. And since it's the two of them, that is pretty good. And that tells you how badly they need teams. If you can come somewhere as a team, holy mackerel. Who else? I wrote one down here. Quality Carriers has an ad in Pennsylvania. Okay, 62 cents a mile, but get this, $15,000 sign-on bonus paid in 90 days. 90 days. Now you're out 2 to 3 weeks at a time. It did say that. $15,000 in 90 days. That's over $1,000 a week. Want my name in blue? Might not be a good idea, but I still want to see it once. Yeah, sure. Look, put it in there. This Love's here in Sydney doesn't have the face mask required on their door anymore. Oh, are they not doing that in Nebraska? Okay, good. Tell them good. Just walk right in there. Sell the inside tires. They probably won't even notice. They'll see it's. Tell them it's a single. It's not a super single. It's just a single. A donkey bite. Hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on? Eddie McFadden, once you're on that clearinghouse list, you're done. I personally had to fire 3 drivers recently for alcohol and random drug test fails. Yeah, right. So once somebody gets on there, there's really little you could do about it, right? You're just like, there's nothing I can do. I just can't deal with you anymore. And so that's what I'm saying. For years, somebody's going to be out of work. Dave Johnson, speaking of cars, you still have the Sonic. I do. I've had the car for 6 years. So absolutely. And I've put 23,000 miles on it in 6 years. So, yep, it's still here. It'll be driven today. Roger Penske, Marky Mark, and the Skinless Wieners this Saturday at the Manhole. Hey, that's pretty good. I would love to hear your thought if you couldn't get in trouble for it. The Horton David, if you couldn't get in trouble for it. I wouldn't paint my name on a door, certainly. Letters, maybe. There are no Sierra England drivers in the live chat. They cannot afford a smartphone gear jammer. Yeah, apparently. Well, you know, at $90,000, you'd think they could. So I just didn't believe it. That's why I wrote that down. I'm like, there's no way they're paying $90,000. There's just no way. Nobody writes me from there saying, oh, Mark, I make so much. The only things I get there are people with $400 checks. Wonder what they should do. They're about to lose their family and house and everything, and they can't get home. They're stuck out. The place won't get them home, and it won't pay them. Don't worry, folks. Those trashy companies will hire all the illegal aliens coming very soon. Well, fortunately, they can't get a CDL yet. But look, Western at $35 for 3 days. What is their policy? Their policy probably is no pay. That's probably the thing. And they're probably like, well, you know what? We'll give this guy a little bit of money for, his trouble or whatever. Or woman. I don't know who it was. I drove a brand new Kenworth the other day and only charged 1 air tank at a time. Sweet. It goes probably faster that way. So you see one fill up and then the other one. It shouldn't be empty. If it sits, unless it sits a long period of time, it shouldn't be. My truck overnight, it's not empty when I come back in the next day. It's still full. England drivers can't afford the free Wi-Fi card at the pilot. Only can get it when they go to the library. Where does that video go off to? I don't know. We'll find out. Somebody will go over there and find out, Kelly. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody's got it. Are you ready for age-based cognitive road testing? They're talking about doing age-based cognitive tests. Not just a road test, but a cognitive test where your test is an hour long about. And you'll have to do things like remember things and stuff like that. More than just turn left, turn right. They said that's too easy for people because by the time they get older, they've done it for so many years. So they may have some tasks that you do, it said. And I can't imagine what you're going to do. You have to, here you're driving, what I pictured. Here, Grandpa Jones, now that we're driving down the interstate, solve this Rubik's Cube. You have 2 minutes, and you're trying to pull the cube around. I don't know what tasks they would have, but there would be a cognitive road test available. They said right now it would be 65 to 80. You'd have to do it at renewal, and then after 80, you'll have to take the test every time that you go in. Oh, yes, they will. It won't matter if they could speak English either. Yeah, well, it already doesn't matter. Look, Mesilla Valley has got to be the worst on this, and they can say whatever they want about it. They don't even answer emails or anything. Every driver that I see, 3 out of 4 of their drivers, they don't speak English at all. Come on, Mesilla. They should offer 90 days, same as cash. They should. Company got called by KC investigator who said one of our company trucks was stealing trailers. Oh, really? Company got called. Yeah, look, Mark Jones, you cannot sell stuff at the truck stop or whatever. Don't do that. Just quit. And at $35, you might as well quit. You can go work anywhere in your town. Think about this. I don't care where it is. At minimum wage and make more than $35 on a weekend for 3 days. Anywhere. So it's certainly not worth staying there. It's not worth, just leave. I got to head out. Have a great week. Okay, thanks, Fleet Nav Systems. I hope it's going good up there in Snow Melt City. Start with the general public first, right? I'm going to need a bunch of coffee for that one. Exactly. That's going to be not good. In where did I go off to right there? Oh, right there, right. After 2 days, my truck gets down to about 80 psi, but it gets loaded. Well, that's not bad. 2 days, right, and you're down. That's several days. But overnight, it should stay full. Problem with age-based testing requires 2 testers. One to take the test with the other shorter one. Don't read this. Yeah, I didn't read all of it, certainly. The cognitive testing may not be a bad idea. What they're saying is that people with dementia, that's what they were actually talking about partially, could still drive because it's just learned over many, many years by that point. But the cognitive part of it is not learned. It'd be something you'd have to do while you're driving. But I can't imagine what they can have you do because what do they always say? Concentrate on driving. So here's the New York Times crossword puzzle. What's an 8-letter word for, what are they going to, they're going to give you rapid fire quizzes? I don't exactly know how that's going to work. How many times have I been approached at a truck stop by guys who hardly speak English trying to figure out their weight tickets? I think we have another driver on here that regularly gets people approaching him with weigh scale tickets, which I found amazing until it turns out happens all the time, right? Cash is king trucking. People bring weigh scale tickets out, and I just don't understand it. Why are people not taught how to do this? Or really, before you ask another driver, why don't you just Google it up? Because honestly, you don't know what the driver is going to say. For all you know, they don't know how to read the thing either, to be honest. And I thought, well, maybe Catscale should put it on the weigh ticket, but then no, they can't because then they're telling you all they're doing is giving you information. It's up to you to figure out how to do it. But so why don't you just Google it up? Before I'd ask somebody that's just sitting in their truck, I don't even know if they have pants on, much less if they know what they're talking about. It might be just a good idea to Google that up. Hello from balmy Ontario, Canadian tanker yanker. Yeah, it's finally warmed up there, hasn't it? Thieves labeled the tractor to look like our company. Wow, that's pretty bold, right? Why don't they just go steal all the Celadon trailers right now? Nobody's going to say anything to them. Had to turn on the AC, Canadian tanker. Yesterday was the first day I used the AC in the house. And I'm always nervous if it's going to work. But it worked because it sits outside all year, the big central thing sits out there. But it worked again, so super happy. Been running in the truck last few days, a little warmer in there. I like it cooler in there. But yeah, isn't it great? Turn on the air conditioning. We're all set now. You can make more than $35 shaking a tin can at the off-ramp. No doubt. Go stand at Meyer next to the guy that stands out there with the sign that says, need money, will work. Stands by the, help wanted sign. I just collect cans and made $47. You could just drive around. I mean, $35 is nothing. It's just no kind of money for being at work. Western should be ashamed of themselves. And then he doesn't notice, oh, right, and Strucker Hershey. So you answer the guy, and then he's like, oh, well, then can you help me slide my tandems also? Maybe I'll go deliver your load for you too. They can't read English. They can barely say hello in English, James. Well, maybe so, but maybe the scale ticket should be in kilograms. Is it? Oh, probably not. I haven't scaled in a while. Maybe it isn't both. If YouTube was out when I started, I would have never drove a truck, Kevin. Well, it's been out, '06, I think it started. Actually, I think this is 15 years coming up for YouTube. Early days of YouTube were way back then, so I tell everyone you can have $80,000 per 80,000 per axle. You can go 80,000 an axle. That's the problem. You go ask somebody, you don't know if they're telling you the truth or not. You just assume that they're telling you the truth. So you're better off looking it up, although I guess, well, no, actually, you can't lie on the internet. So Al Gore said that too. When he invented it, that was written into the code. Lies are not allowed. So that's how it works. Jody, hosed you. What did they do, though? I mean, did they pay you $35 for 3 days also? Because I will say, I get mostly good reviews from that. Mark Jones, happy National Goof Off Day. Is it National Goof Off Day, really? I guess the cat is in on that. I can't believe that there's an actual day for goofing off. The cat will be like, what? I thought that was every day. Yikes. National Goof Off Day. To all those guys that help wanted sign on the side of the freeway, go to Office Depot, get a pack of applications, and every time you see one of these guys, hand them one. Oh, that's very good. That is very good. Well worth a few dollars. Okay, I'm back. I have to take this on the go. Okay, well, I'm glad that you're here. You hear Trump's starting his own social media. I did read about that. That's all I saw was the thing that he may start his own social media channel. And believe me, knowing him, it'll be called Trump Social Media or something like that, right? His name's on everything, which is what you got to do, promote yourself. So I agree with that. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes. I will say, if that happens, millions of people will sign up for it. Here's how I figure what my waiting time is worth. I get 61 cents per mile times 65. That's what my wait time is worth. You have $40 an hour. Right. So in an hour, I mean, you should get 40. You should certainly get something. There's so many companies that have some kind of policy where you don't get paid anything. You just don't get any money at all. Oh, that's too bad. Why does that work? I met a driver from Western Express. The story was so sad. I felt so sorry for him. I bought him dinner. He probably appreciated it. And that is the story at Western Express. That is the thing. There's too many people there with the same story of this kind of low pay. No decent company is going to give you $35 for 3 days. No way. The Horton, I just got $5 for 8 hours of detention. Great. I have to remind them their math is fundamental. Nice. I have to do both my job and I will expect a bump in pay. Well, let us know what they do about that. And if you want to say, who's giving $5 for 8 hours? Don't they have some kind of detention policy? Most places say, 2 hours, then 20 an hour or something. So that should have scored you at least $120. That's what I'm thinking. For National Goof Off Day for Sierra England, just pick a day. Well, look, if they're getting 90,000, 86,000 plus and home weekends, okay, I just don't believe it. I'd like them to present one driver that's doing that. Roger Moore, one of our drivers got an overweight for $91,000. Oh, $6,250. Is the company going to make him pay it? Holy mackerel. They got that container loaded up with stuff. Lubbock is getting fired up on weather. No warnings yet. Oh, all right. My trainer at Sierra England woke me up from a deep sleep. Okay, yelling at me. Saying I should know how to slide the tandems on my second day. Hey, wake up. Don't you know how to slide tandems yet? I'm like, I'm sleeping. What are you doing? And why aren't you have any clothes on? My goof off day. It's a real thing. So another goof off day is truck driving professional. Oh, man. What I can never get a straight answer when you're scaling your load, what bridge law do you follow if you're running through 3 different states? The shortest one. Caleb. So whatever the shortest one is. So like you pick up in Jersey, goes to California, you're going to have to use 40 feet California's bridge law because you need to bridge the shortest one. That's why people, especially you go load on the East Coast, they don't understand that. You go, well, I can't have my tandems. Well, why not? Because it's going to California. That's why not. So they have to load it for the shortest state, whichever state that is and where you're going. Joe Cool. Hey, why are you at a car dealership? Are you a tire kicker? I love cars. Always have. Went to my first car show with my dad at 5 years old. The Chicago Auto Show. Went with him for many years to the Chicago Auto Show. And just love cars. And I own a lot of cars. Not now, but I get cars pretty regularly. I've bought, 5 or 6 cars in the last 8 or 9 years. And I'm just out test driving them and everything. I test drove Jaguars at a Jaguar driving event. I got invited to a Lincoln driving event. I went to that, and we drove a bunch of Lincolns around. The Jaguar event was a track event. I mean, it was super fun. And that's what I do. So I go out and look at cars all the time. I have to try to find cool cars I like, interesting cars that have a weird thing about them. I sold cars for a little while, so I have that side of it too. And I'm just a big car fan. Cash King Truck, I don't care if their weight ticket is legal or not. I just say it looks good. I'm tired of doing things for poorly trained drivers. It looks good. Looks like a weight ticket to me. Trump has lived a lifetime of promoting himself, and people fall for it. Well, look, I will always tell people that when your brand is you got to be out promoting yourself. You know, that's what we do. That's what everybody does when they go get a job. Oh, you're like, oh, well, I have all, you always tell them all the good experience or whatever. It's always self-promotion, always. Everything is self-promotion. Reading scale tickets and slide exams is teaching school, just the student is not retaining the info. I will say this, Mark, and now this has been a few years since I went to truck school. That was not part of any truck school I went to. They were very clear about, we're going to get your license, and then you'll figure everything else out, basically. So, James, my time is worth $100 an hour, but my own business, right? Which means I set my own rules. The FMCSA can kiss you. Well, the FMCSA, of course, doesn't regulate pay. So, and I agree with you. People, that is the problem in trucking and in a lot of industries. People don't value their time enough. Your time is valuable, and so you should not accept low pay for it. And that's why drivers that get paid more is because they don't accept low pay. Like, as soon as $35 for 3 days would be done. I don't accept that. Nobody's paying me like that. So, but when drivers accept it, that's how companies get away with it. And that's at all industries, really. The only reason on the minimum wage thing, right? No way. I don't not take a minimum wage, so that's just not going to happen. What's the difference between pizza and a trucker job? You can feed a family of 4 with a pizza. Well, David, depends where you work. There are many drivers in the chat and that drive that make great money driving. It's kept me fed and everything my whole career. So I think it's a great job. Once you get into the right place, you got it made. Freddie, we get $42 for sleeping in the truck. Well, you were sleeping. You made more than Western Express pays. That's the thing. Got to get out of a place that doesn't pay anything. Oh my gosh. Trump tube. Oh, you're fired. Oh, you know what? That's pretty good. I wonder if he trademarked "you're fired" for something like that, Kelly. Maybe. I could see Trump tube, though. That's good, but I think it'll be a social media type, Facebook type of thing rather than a video based, but that's not bad. Maybe it could be Trump tube. That's pretty interesting. You're fired channel? That's what all self-employed people do. Nothing wrong with it. Shame you don't get it. I agree. James Bass, look, self-employed people, right, understand the value of their time. Mr. Crowley was somewhere. And right there. Why do owner-operators go through all that stress when at the end of the year their taxable income is no more or less than a company driver? It depends on the owner-operator. There are certainly solo lease drivers that make way less than a company driver, and there are owner-operators that make 5 times what a company driver makes. Ones that run their business the proper way and, buy the truck right in that, do great, make tons of money. So that's the same way in all business, though, right? And then the ones that lease a truck for $1,300 a week and, from a carrier that doesn't know its own name, so they don't make as much money. Those people should be company drivers. Certainly. You got to make way more than a company driver or it's not worth doing. It's always a sign of an inexperienced driver. The trailer with the tandem's all the way forward. I've never had to slide all the way forward to scale legal. I pick those up all the time, too. Just the one Friday, they were all the way forward. They're just slammed up against those stupid fairing things. You can barely get your hand in there to reach the thing in there. I'm like, really? Who did this? So those got slid back out. How does anybody fall upstairs? Yeah, that's a problem. Wait, shameless self-promotion is bad? Cash truck? No, look, I'm all for it. When your brand, especially your brand is you, get out there and you got to be your own best promoter. Absolutely. I think that link I posted was a cooking video I made on my other channel. Oh, all right, sweet. Everybody should go check that out. What are you cooking? Trucking Journeys gets paid to sleep in a hotel every night. That's true. You're in a hotel, a good one, and relatively good, right? And you get paid for that. Holy mackerel. And the thing is, I'm going to say at Western, the $35 was like extra money where they probably made a big deal about it because I think they don't have any pay for that. And so then they're like, oh, yeah, you sat, you know what? Don't tell anybody, but we're going to add $35 to your check for you. But don't say anything. We don't want the other drivers to know about it. We have loads all the time where the TAMs are all the way forward, mostly paper roll loads. I guess it depends on the load, but I see these loads pick up a trailer, and I know somebody rolled in with them all the way forward. And it's always on a trailer that's got where it goes up to like 36 feet or something. They go way forward. I'm like, holy mackerel. The Horton David, I've not got banned on YouTube, but I might get banned on TrumpTube. Maybe they pay for hotel in advance and pay me to sleep there. Yeah, Trucking Journeys, that's not a bad deal. Promote away, no shame in the game. Yeah, look, you always got to be self-promoting. And I'll tell you what, not politically, but people can think what they want, but everybody knows who Trump is. So think about it that way, good or bad, right? Whether you like, people love him, people hate him, but you know who he is if you just say the name, and that's because he promoted himself. And so other people should do that too, and also value your time. There is a difference between owner-operator and lease-operator. Absolutely. Look, an owner-operator that knows their business, bought their truck right, it gets decent mileage, doesn't get 2 miles to the gallon, and is good at getting their freight going, can make, $3,000-$4,000 a week to them, after expenses. So absolutely, that's way more than you can make as a company driver. And then there are owner-operators that are making $500 a week after their huge truck payment because their company has to dispatch them on loads and they don't get to decide all that stuff, So it depends. Yes, you have to fight for detention and layover pay here. So they don't have any policy on it. That's what that means, right? So at Western, then, what you're saying is there's no policy. Like you get, after so many hours, you get so much money. A lot of companies have that. Sometimes it's really low, $50, but at least it's something where we know, okay, we're going to get this. So their policy, it must be you're not getting anything, and then every once in a while you might get something. That's the thing. You keep an animal in a cage and never feed it. Every once in a while you give it meat, it's really hungry, it eats it. It's happy to get it. Same thing at Western. Prime Inc. is hiring recruiters, but you have to drive a truck and take YouTube training. That's probably true. That's all they have on there. I just got $400 for 4 days down in a trailer shop. Never worked for a mega carrier. Right. See, you can get paid way more than that for not even working at places. For not even working. You can sleep in your truck and get paid, depending where you work. Or in a motel. I've been all the way across Canada from east to west, but never had to use a CAT scale. Seriously, the numbers in pounds, or is it all metric? I think certainly in the United States, it's going to be pounds. Freedom units, as we call them, and probably in the Canada, it's probably going to be in metric. You're going to have to do a little conversion either way, depending which side of the thing you're on. They should print it in both, I guess. It'd be a little bit easier. Casualty King Trucking, a lot of refrigerator loads require you to have your tandems really far forward because of the weight of the reefer unit. I prefer it because the trailer skirts make it more fuel efficient. Oh, it would probably help for that. Right. I never think about that because they don't pay me to fuel the truck. I like a better ride. But okay, so up against those skirts, you'd get better fuel mileage. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I know owner-operators making a lot more than that. Some I know are making $10,000 a week gross. Yeah, but gross, James Bass, gross doesn't matter to me as much as net because I can't spend the gross, just like gross in a check. But what is an owner-operator net, after expenses at the end of the week? So let's say an owner-operator nets $3,500 a week. I think that owner-operator is living a pretty good life. Okay. Will Coops ever rule the road again? No. Nope. They cannot give away a two-door. Or now they call these four-door coupes or whatever. No. It's all Suburbans on the road. It should be illegal for there to be a time on duty not driving and not get paid other than paid by the miles. A driver should be paid for all on-duty time, including in addition to layover pay. Well, doggies, I agree. The thing is, a driver should not accept work that is unpaid. How about that? That's the thing about valuing your time. Not that we don't need to go to the government and gripe about it and say, look, you need to make this time all paid. How about this? Don't work without being paid money. Okay, if there's all these hours a week where you're not being paid anything, you got to reevaluate that job and say, look, I don't need to come in here for free. You can sit at home for free. Remember that. If there's a bunch of time, and I get there's a few minutes here or there, that's one thing. But for hours and hours a week, if you start getting into that every week, you can just sit at home for free. I've been broke down at Love's since Saturday because of a wheel hub on a trailer. The real Big John Trucking. Does that not have a shop in it? Can we not get a hub on this trailer? Holy mackerel. Why would an experienced driver work for Western Express? Well, I will tell you, a lot of people don't have any choice because of a record, either a criminal record or a driving problem on their driving record. They have to go to Western Express, and Western Express will hire people that have a record that other companies may not hire, and it's a way to get your record cleared up while you work. So a better place, say they want to see 5 years of a good driving record. Well, Western Express will hire you, and if you keep your record clean for the time, you could then get out of there, and basically you've renewed yourself back into the industry. So it kind of serves a purpose, but it's so disgusting that they make people work for nothing. They're asking you to work with no pay at all. I mean, come on, at least pay people something. Can you not give people at least minimum wage? At least we can ask for what a 15-year-old gets at a McDonald's. I mean, come on. I doubt Trump will ask Big Tech to carry anything for him, especially an app. Well, he's going to have to put the app somewhere. I'm sure he's got some kind of developer that can do it, though. He could hire somebody to develop an app. On a single trio, the first night is $20 for sleeping in the hotel. For second, it's $35. And the third and every day after the same load is $45 for a required break. Oh, that's pretty good. All right, that's the way to do it. They consider it layover, and we have no detention pay because they're never really anywhere more than an hour. Yeah, but you get paid for that stop anyway, so you've already gotten your hour pay, basically. They had to get the part from utility. Nice. We have to make this. Got to replace the whole hub, and then it got the wrong part, and I'm still sitting here. That's pretty good. What is happening with the load? Worked at a JB Hunt for a year, but they micromanaged me right out of there. I think that's local, because there are some people, especially there have been people on here that like JB Hunt. Really? Yeah, there have been. So I think the micromanagement is, location by location, manager by manager. I don't know why companies allow it, because they know it's just going to run drivers out. Just finished tarping a 40-foot load in Miami, and wasn't even what they caught hot yet. I'm dead. Yeah, you need to get in. You got about, a couple months to get in better shape. Start throwing some tarps around. 100 degrees, and it's humid. You're going to be tarping in Baton Rouge in August. So, at least they paid you for it. Holy mackerel. Trying to come lately, all this owner-operator talk, maybe you want to get out of Brockway, out of mothballs. Get the Brockway out of mothballs and go hang out in the stockyards. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see it. How was your transition back to the day cab? Well, I had to take my sheets and stuff out of the truck and pillow and threw those in the car, but otherwise, no problem. All right, I think I'd still rather have the sleeper, regardless of all the tech on it that doesn't work, just because it's more comfortable. It's quieter, better driving. So, but this truck runs good, certainly. Absolutely. It doesn't get any better fuel mods. I thought it would do better on fuel. It doesn't really. They didn't get the full aero package on it, so, it's only getting 8.3 or so. That's what the sleeper got. I don't think it's doing great. Viva Miami. You made 35. I was just talking to us, Mark, and that's still not enough. Love you, Kevin. Well, I appreciate that. Believe me, I appreciate it. And that goes for, expenses of the website and stuff like that. So the email is $70 a year. So $100, but that's tiring in the sun. George Costanza. That's what I'm saying. Imagine here, now you're talking to me in August 22nd, and you're like, hey, I just tarped a load at Baton Rouge. And the humidity's 90% or whatever. It's work. It's hard work. And I always try to tell people that are going to flatbed, do not be fooled into thinking it's easy. It can be very hard work getting stuff tarped. It can be. Getting rescheduled, it's frozen desserts. Open that door up and tell people, look, 50 cents each. I got to get rid of these things. I'm almost out of fuel. James, started my own business. I made more money in 3 months than I ever did driving a truck. Look, it's certainly possible. You could start your own trucking business. You can start your own whatever business. There's no reason anybody can't do that. And I encourage everybody to do something besides depending on a paycheck, because you never know when the end of the paycheck is over. And they don't give you a paycheck. Are you still moving? Yes, still headed to move to Huntingburg. There was a house this weekend there, but it's super tiny. So I sent that to the wife, and she's like, nope. 700 square foot house. I mean, that is a small house. So that isn't going to happen. But absolutely, we'll find the right house and head out. Absolutely. Not today, though, but that is going to happen. And I'll be down in southern Indiana. But none of this changes, right? Because that was the thing we talked to the realtor about down there, right? I made her show me the internet and stuff down there and how it works. And I checked the signal so that I make sure that there's good internet, because it's a little tiny small town. But they do actually have high-speed internet through the whole town. So I'm super happy. And there's some super high-speed internet around as well. I can go even faster than I have here. So I'll be super happy about that. The Trucking Jamboree is July 8th. Let's see. Oh, okay. They talked more about the driver shortage again. Here's how we solve the driver shortage, companies. If you think there's a driver shortage, put an ad out and pay. Now, just follow me, companies. Put in there, drivers are paid $100 an hour plus overtime for all logged time. Okay, would you get drivers? That's what I was asked companies. Would you get drivers? Yes. They all say, oh, absolutely. We'd have no problem getting drivers. All right, so somewhere between what they're paying now and that kind of pay is what the job should pay. And companies that are on the low end of that can't get drivers. When people hear about a place that makes you sit 3 days, like Western, and gives you $35, they have a difficulty getting drivers, which is good. And they should have a problem with that. I hope that you'll post that everywhere. Tucker Hershey, moving? Yeah, we're looking to move to southern Indiana, in the Jasper, Indiana area. Absolutely. The wife's daughter lives down there, so we'll be headed down that way. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Well, 700 square feet for two people. You have to go outside to change your mind. It's a small place. It was a small house, right? No garage or anything. But, the price was super cheap. So I'm like, it's cheap. She's like, nope, too small. So I thought you were old school. You need dial-up. Yeah, I remember having dial-up, just so people know. The computer had a 2400 baud modem, my first online computer for AOL, and I upgraded that myself to 12,800 or something, and thought 14.4, right? And I thought, oh, that is the best thing ever. 14.4. Pictures would come in one line at a time when you're looking at a picture. That would go across like that and fill the picture, and it would say, 1 minute, 18 seconds remaining or whatever. Incredible how far we've come. People don't realize how good we have it now. Oh, you just go right in your phone or whatever. It didn't always used to be like that. But 710 square foot house is a little bit small, I thought. I'd like to have my own dedicated room and a basement and all that stuff. I've always heard that best companies to work for do not advertise. A lot of companies don't have to advertise or don't advertise much. You don't see their ads as much as other places. Everybody advertises. I'm never bad on that. Look, everybody knows what McDonald's is. If I say McDonald's, did everybody just picture McDonald's? Right. They run ads still. Even though everybody knows what it is, everybody knows it. They still run ads. So even the better companies, they'll still run ads too, because we still need to get the word out there about, whatever the company is, A, B, C company or whatever. But the ones that you see constantly showing up in your feed, that's the problem. In feeds and ads, billboards and all that, those are the ones they can't get people. Just go to the ATA site and say, who's an ATA member? It's those places. If a place gives you $35 for a weekend, they'll probably run a lot of ads to get drivers, because that driver, if you're still on here, you should find another thing to do. And I'll tell you, you can do almost anything and make probably as much as you're making driving for Western Express. They're not worth working for that kind of money. What's a full week's check there if that's the kind of money you're getting? I remember that one-line mess. That one-line mess, the whore. Yeah. The one-line mess. Right. That's what I'm saying. That kind of thing, it just can't. It just can't. I just can't with it. Okay, so they said this too. Bosch came out and said this, which I thought was hilarious right after I was talking about that truck. That lane keep assist will reduce by $3,700 per truck per year the cost of accidents at companies if people get it. I don't know why. Anybody else have this worthless lane keep assist in their new Freightliner with Detroit Assurance 5? It's horrible. Am I not right about this? It's horrible. Michael Muller's here. What did you miss? Hey, it's good to see you. Rookie question from Far H. What's the term for taking the truck back home with you off time? Checking out companies. I say, can I take the truck home with me for my off time? Seriously. You just say, hey, what's the story on, home time? Do I get to take the truck with me? Usually they're going to want a place for you to park it. And if you're taking the trailer, they want you to place to park the whole thing. That's got to be safe and approved. Some of them might want you to take a picture of where you're going to park it and send it to them so that they know that the truck is going to be safe, especially if it's not at your house. Personally, I think you should leave the truck at the company if you can, because then you're not responsible for it while you're at home. So always years on the road, always let the truck with them. And plus they can work on it or whatever while you're gone, but always leave the truck with them. Let them, have the responsibility for it. Grand Island, Nebraska off I-80 is going to get nice storms. May get a thunderstorm warning. Trucking chips, all right. Weather on the threes. All right, I appreciate it. Storms in Grand Island. Mr. Crawley, does GP Transco have local positions? They do, a couple from what I understand, and those are generally full, although you should call them, certainly to find out. But I think they have local drivers that go into Chicago from the Joliet area, but they're generally filled by drivers. Western Express, only good if you're basically needing to get back in the industry and no one will hire you. You have to bite the bullet. Yes, then you're going to have to tolerate Western for however long you need to stay there until your record is clean enough to go somewhere else that you want to go. But don't stay any longer than that. You're using them the same way they're using drivers without paying them, which is still disgusting. They can't stand on, well, we're giving drivers a chance. By not paying them, that is a chance. That's not a chance. That's using people. The $35 guy needs to pay a visit to his nearest state unemployment office and file a wage and hour complaint. Well, he'll get nowhere with that because they'll say, well, there's no law that says we have to pay people things, as transportation is exempt from minimum wage and overtime laws. So that's where that would go. 2400 bought on Prodigy. Oh, I saw Prodigy. I saw their discs or whatever. I never got on Prodigy. I was always an AOL person. Michael Muller, lane keeping all those other systems that beep and blink are distracting and annoying. I agree. The lane keeping thing is horrible. You have to fight the truck. I turn it off. I encourage every company to go in the computer and turn it off. The blinking blind spot thing is super big and bright. I don't know why it's so big. I have blind spot on the car. It's just a dot on the mirror. Right? This thing is super bright, especially at night. It's huge. It's in the dashboard. It's over there. It's super bright. And you turn the signal on, it's super loud. And the car's already past you. You turn your signal on, it still thinks the car's there. I mean, come on. Does GP only have local at the headquarters, Trucking Hershey? I think so. GP Transco, hopefully they're around here. Look, I'm not I don't work for them or anything, so I don't know. I just know from what they've said. I think that the local drivers are just at headquarters there in Joliet, and they run them into Chicago and the surrounding area. I think it's worth calling them. Look, it's certainly worth calling them. All they can say is no, we don't have any local positions or whatever. So certainly worth it. You can go on their website. They have a chat link there or whatever, and ask them. But I think it's there, and they're usually full. Pigpen, thanks again for another great show. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody being on the show every week. If Sierra England and PAM joined together, the new company would be PAM Transport. Yeah, nice. PAM, by the way, 6310. Holy mackerel this week. Yellow, 884. Even Roadrunner went to 321. They got out of the twos. Yellow's up to 884. It was $4 not that long ago. Holy mackerel. I got on a Volvo, I got aluminum wrap on it so it doesn't go off. Okay, look, I've told this to people, but most companies are going to tell you if you do anything like that, you're fired. So always keep that in mind if it's a company truck. If it's your truck, of course, you can do whatever you want with it. But as a company driver, if you disable or, block any of those safety things, they'll probably fire you if they find out about it. So you'll be lucky if you don't get fired. Keep that in mind. Sorry to get my paperwork. What is the tandem length if you're traveling across the country? The shortest state you're going through. The shortest state. Whatever state is the shortest, that's where you set it. And literally, you set it and forget it. In that case, sue them. Yeah, many companies are being sued for that. Yes, you're going to have to join with somebody, though, for James. I agree with you on that. But you'll need a class action for that. Because say you sue them, all right? And, okay, so we got $35. And even for minimum wage, say he would have been entitled to a few $100s for that time. Remember, $290 is minimum wage for a 40-hour work week. So let's say he would have gotten $200, and over a few weeks he's owed a couple $1,000 at minimum wage, which would be the best you could sue for. Are you going to sue a place like Western Express? They do, I don't know, $100 million of business a year, $80 million for $3,000. You got a huge problem. They're big. And so, you'll fight that. You'll spend way more than that suing them. So it wouldn't be worth it. What really, you should quit. But then you join a class action and sue them that way. Agree. Talk to an attorney about that. Absolutely. And I agree with you on that. I totally agree with that. You enjoyed the mirrorless Schneider truck. I think the beeping when you turn the blinker on is a reminder to look in your mirror since they don't teach that. Michael Muller. I agree. Look, it's saying there's a car there, and as you turn your blinker on, it thinks you're going to change lanes. I agree. So it turns red, and it's loud. Okay, but the problem is there's nothing there. I've already looked over there. That's why I'm turning. So the car, when it passes, it takes a while, even from being past the truck and going back that way, it doesn't read all the way to the end of the trailer. It's not great to depend on it. It helps. I like it on the car, but I don't like it on the truck as much. It needs another sensor by the end of the trailer so it can read back there better. It only goes back maybe 50 feet of the trailer. Like on McLaughlin Group, bye-bye. Oh, wow, the McLaughlin Group, wow. I'll pull the fuse. That's something that could happen. Somehow my backup beeper always goes out right after a service. I don't understand that. It's always something catches on the wire and pulls it out of there. What do I know? Tandem setting depends on the state. Right. I always just say go to the lowest state. Go look through the states. The state with the least, set it there. And once it's legal there, it's legal everywhere else, right? Want to talk live this weekend? Yeah, email me we'll talk about, I don't know about Noon Wednesday. We'll see about a good time. Gunner Active Group Media Mark. I appreciate that. With super chats. Nice. I'm going to go get Subway. All right. The real Big John Trucking. All right. Get a foot long. I think somebody called the Big John Trucking needs a foot long. Eat fresh. Nice. Subway loves that. Courts will get tired of seeing these lawsuits and pressure will be put to make changes. They don't seem to be. Courts don't seem to be tiring of it. Companies get sued constantly for this. I think PAM's in there now for this. And they don't seem to. Companies love it. The courts don't seem to mind. Nobody seems to mind. Mine beeps even if a vehicle's 2 lanes over in the exit lane. I know. Mine beeps if there's a construction barrier there. It's reading that. And so then you turn the signal and it won't do it. So that's not good. All right. Trucking tips. I appreciate it. But yeah, you're right. I do have to actually head on out to do stuff this week. Like work. Right. But don't forget also, even though there's a blind spot, you still, if you wear it, you should make it a parrot. At least wear some kind of headset. A blue parrot would be great. All right. Did you know Schuster's giving a raise over there to haul stuff around? They are. How about Dot Foods? Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to eat. There were numerous questions, and GP Transco was here today, and I appreciate that. For local or road jobs, give them a call, right? Check them out on the website. Not as many local jobs. But look, it's rated as one of the highest paying carriers in the country, and it really is. People have sent me their checks. GP Transco doesn't know this. But people, will communicate with me, and I never tell GP Transco who talks to me or whatever. And they go, look at what look at what I'm making now here, and it really is, $2,000 plus gross checks people have sent me, which is true. So I really think that's great. Cash is King Trucking is live probably right now. Want to know about how to be an owner operator? Right there, and is the way to do it. All the numbers all the time. Fleet Nav Systems was here today. I appreciate it. And we did talk about Jay at Auto Transport Intel. I don't talk about him enough, but I appreciate all the work that Jay puts into the industry as well. Go check out his show. He's live a lot of the time. A lot of the time. So there. How about that? Michael Muller was first 5 minutes after I put the show up on last Wednesday, which was really something. Trucking Tips had 2 hot dogs. At the manhole, that can mean many things. But I appreciate everybody being here. Paul Bynes was here today. And I had George Costanza here today, which I appreciate on my list. Oh, let's see here. Trucker Hershey was here today. Where am I here? MG Jackson was here today. Yeah, Prodigy. Right, love it. Mr. Crowley. All right, Trucking Tips. Thank you for being here. Far H. Let's see. Where am I off to? Oh, Jeff S. was here. It's Mr. Plow was here. It's good to see you. Misty was here today. Thank you for being here. Joan Ark came in today. The real Big John Trucking is off to get some chow. Crimson Caveman was here. Kevin. Steel Horse was here. Thank you. And thank you for the information today. I really appreciate it. Dave Johnson was here. Johnny Come Lately was here. Crimson Caveman, look, you can write to me about what's going on over there. I'd love to talk to you about it and maybe get you out of there to do something. But if nothing else, at least consider doing almost anything else than working there, depending on your situation. Loyalty Trucking, all right. Let's see, Mark Jones was here, and let's see, there. I have to get into work. Old Timer was here. About Eddie McFadden was here. Oh, thank you. Trucker Journeys was here. Kelly Patterson, I appreciate you being here today. Oh, and we should go watch her trucking, cooking video, I should say. Freddie was here. The Horton David, and let's see, where's this? Oh, right here. But I'm going to head in off to my place, or they're going to gripe at me. So I appreciate everybody being here, and of course there'll be more videos and another show next week. So send in those pics, and there'll be a video and stuff